McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Another wonderful Wednesday afternoon to you, everyone. Welcome once again to The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, your host and producer. Our program, as you know, airs weekdays from 12:30 until 2 p.m. on the radio station Real FM that serves you on the frequencies of 91.3 megahertz for the north, 91.5 for the south, simulcasting on NBC Television, Channel 120 on the Flow Cable TV service. We are on Facebook Live and we are on YouTube live streaming as well. Our technical operator is Alton Jaquan Joseph in the studio with me. I want to thank you for sharing this part of your day with us. Ash Wednesday, the start of the annual Lenten season, which I believe will culminate on Sunday the 5th of April, and that is, of course, Easter Sunday. So you know how it goes with the days and the observances in the season. If you're one of those who believes in them, well, now we're off. If any of you intend to fast for the 40 days and 40 nights and so on, then get in touch with me so I can arrange to eat your food and drink your drink that you would have eaten, or otherwise if you were not fasting. So, make arrangements with me. I promise I won't eat all or drink all myself. I'll share it with Jaquan, and, we can split it up, save us some money having to buy food. No, I'm not making fun of it all. I know some people are very serious about their observances. People, I have been given thought, and I always give a lot of thought to a lot of things. Sometimes I reach home and I take a long time before I get out of the vehicle. The AC is nice. It's such a nice place. The only other nice place I know for reading and reflecting is another certain throne, that when you sit on it, all kinds of the best ideas and insights and creativity and even prayers come to you. I don't mean to be irreverent, but in the vehicle and reflect on a lot of things, read a lot of things. The coolness, the quiet, the white noise of the vehicle idling and so on seems to help. There's this thing about motor noise of your fan, your fridge and so on, serving as a good backdrop, the monotone of it all, to deep, insightful thinking. And I read at the same time, check up on things when something comes up to me. And I was thinking, maybe in such a setting or context recently, There appears to be how would I call it? A pattern of thought going around, especially in the highly charged and overcharged political circles, that there is a certain party in St. Lucia which does better because of its connections. Because the Americans, usually, that the Americans like them better. And so when they hold the reins of office, they are more likely to get aid, they are more likely to get sympathetic preferential treatment because they are the party of conservatism. There was that organization that called itself the CDU, Caribbean Democratic Union, which involved people like John Compton and James Mitchell and Edward Seaga and who else, among them and so on, that when they were in power, they were the ones. In fact, I think for a long time, John Compton, may he continue to sleep in peace, I felt always used to sell himself on the basis, well, he said so actually, he's the only one who can go out and can get aid for St. Lucia, that is respected, and people like Pierre Trudeau of Canada, the respect they have for him, that because of him, they will give aid to St. Lucia. Another person, more cynical, said, what Compton is telling us is that he's the person who's best placed, best able to go out and beg for us and so on. I don't know if what Compton claimed was true, if it was not true, because I've seen other governments and leaders and ministers able to travel abroad and to be able to negotiate cooperation and aid and diplomatic partnerships, whatever, for St. Lucia. But there's that thing that the UWP and its surrogates, its communications spin mistresses and spin masters and spin doctors, whatever, like to push, is the line that America will be nice and benevolent towards us when UWP is in office because, especially the Republicans, we align more with their values and with their beliefs and with their policies and so on. So the latest thing after they got this second bone-crushing shellacking at the polls is a new narrative, and I blame some of our people. They give them too much gum. You actually you top gum. Before they say something, we want to respond, we want to counterattack. When some of these people have no relevance, they have no currency, they have no credibility, they are really nobody right now. The little credibility they had that they could write things on certain social media sites and come and pretend like they're faced some terrors, you can't hold yourself accountable. You always come in and talk about how you will hold, they don't want to be held accountable and I will hold them accountable. Who the heck are you? Who the heck are you to hold who accountable and so on? You are elected, you are a member of parliament, you are a member of integrity commission or any such body holding people. Hold yourself accountable now. Hold yourself accountable for the kind of behavior that has characterized what many people who know you claim is a very misspent life. But that is my business. You ain't my concern. Too many of our people give too much, including on this program once I had to tell someone, come on, don't use this program for that. The issue has been litigated. It has been thrashed out. It has been settled decisively. They have nothing that they can raise their head, and what they're doing is bringing back the same foolishness that they did for 4 or 5 years and believe that by coming back and how they call it, réchauffer, the découché nonsense that failed them to bring it back again about the deputy commissioner of police, about, the same, magie, stinking foolishness. They want to come back with it. Well, let them come back with it. At the appropriate time, the people will again speak on that. And I have no doubt that they will give them an even worse shellacking, than they got the last time. But anyway, to come back to the point, this is the line that they have been selling, that they're close to Americans, and so whatever America says, they agree, and they claim that the Labour Party was not getting sufficient concession and sufficient favorable treatment from America because at the United Nations we were voting against America. Just look at the voting patterns, and we're voting against the United States. I don't know where they get this magie, kaka kalbas foolishness that they fill their head with. America don't even vote for America at sometimes. And what do I mean? America takes what it says are very hardline positions against North Korea, against Iran, against who else and so on, that they have this hardline position against them, Cuba and so on, at the United Nations. But when it suits them, like I said, there was a resolution that was put before the United Nations Security Council, and all the resolution said was that they wanted to be put on the record that Russia is the one who started the war with Ukraine, that Russia is the aggressor. You know, guess what? Guess what? The resolution didn't pass because the veto power of Russia in the UN Security Council, but there are other rotating members. And I believe at the time North Korea and Iran were among the rotating members. They may have been in the General Assembly, but whatever it was, the resolution was defeated. Why? Because America voted together with Russia and Iran and North Korea. And imagine that America sided with, let's forget about Russia, because Trump has a kind of a winking little, behind the scenes coziness with Vladimir Putin. I've said that. That's why I tell people there's no way I can be a man who don't support Donald Trump and say I'm supporting Putin in anything. There's a little behind the scenes kind of, don't worry, we go fix that between us kind of relationship between them. Which is why Russia has been so quiet about a lot of things. What happened in Venezuela. They'll say a little something. What's going on with Cuba right now. Russia was so quiet about Israel's attack on Iran and so on. We're supposed to be their allies. I have maintained Vladimir Putin is a Zionist, as are so many of them in America who claim to be progressive. That's why I don't believe that, because I don't support Trump, that I'm going to go all into, kiss and embrace Democrats and so on. Zionism has taken over the Democratic Party in the United States. There's a lot of betrayal going on. What happened in Libya, what happened in so many other instances, the bombing of the Palestinian people, that you could not get a little, well, Biden already couldn't speak through his clenched teeth, but Blinken only his lips could quiver and so on. They never came out and made us, neither did Vladimir Putin. A lot of those people, are Zionists, not even closet, but they just don't talk, they just don't say anything. But nevertheless, America voted against the resolution that would have called Russia the aggressor in the Ukraine war. I don't know what they hope to achieve by that. So you will come today and believe you're voting in the United Nations because you want to align with America, and America might surprise you. America threatened the Dominican Republic some time ago because they wanted to break off relations with Taiwan and to set up relations with mainland China. But America is with mainland China, they have relations. So here's what I'm getting at with all of this thing about those people whose political philosophy is nothing else but what and I'm sure Ambassador Pell will agree with me, is a yad-foul philosophy. Our sovereignty, our self-determination, as an independent, politically independent. Before you say that, we're independent, we can't produce anything, we can't do anything. Nobody ever spoke about economic self-sufficiency. I doubt any country in the world, even the United States, has it. They must do some interaction of trade and whatever with other countries. Nobody ever spoke about that. We're talking about political independence, self-government, government that arises from, that is born in, that is practiced by a certain state within its borders, at least. We are politically independent. We never said that we are economically self-sufficient or anything like that. Never said that. So to those who are selling this yad-foul notion that the answer to all our problems is that we just have to at all times, brown-nose America, kiss their behind, lick their feet and their toes, and say yes sir, to everything, and we're going to get it. How come you all couldn't do it when you all were in office? You all were in office. That was when some of the most brutal attacks against our banana industry, was launched by the same America who was supposed to have had our interest at heart. They pretended to. But as soon as the Cold War ended, and the Iron Curtain fell, and the Berlin Wall came down, And the Eastern Bloc countries opened up and so on. They saw the greater opportunities because of population, infrastructure, whatever it was, the people who had been oppressed, to go and invest there. And they just pull everything from us. Caribbean Basin Initiative, banana preferential treatment. We didn't matter anymore. They threw us. They put us out to pasture. They threw us to the dogs. Because we were not important and relevant to them. It was the same Ukraine and this and that they went to. It was the East and the Asian tiger and the emerging economic giants of Southeast Asia. And the same Vietnam, they had this bitter conflict with, Vietnam opened up, the investments went there and everything that they knew. But yet you all come in and advocate this yad foul kind of nonsense to us. The reason why Trump 2.0 is having difficulties that he wants to turn back to the Western Hemisphere, to the Caribbean, to the Americas, Latin America, is because he made some serious miscalculations in his first term. This thing about wanting to Obamaize everything, whatever Obama did to go on to dismantle it, was that they had already negotiated successful free trade partnerships with those countries, with the Vietnam, with the Cambodia, with Laos, with Thailand, with Malaysia, with Indonesia, with the Philippines and so on. That they would have created a giant and very vibrant trading bloc. But no, Mr. has to go and tear up everything, because it represents, a feather in the cap of Obama. And he can't have that and so on. And now he come back. When he did that, China moved in and China went in and embraced, we could embrace and negotiated agreement. So China, powerful as it was already economically, it has become even better than it was before. So now Mr. has seen that the influence of America, its access to and control of resources, global resources, that he has to come back to America's backyard, to the Americas, to come back and try to, but he wouldn't go and try to negotiate a new free trade area of the Americas. No, it's to go and to take over this country's oil and to blow this country away and to subjugate and annex, and he wants Canada and he wants Greenland and so on. It's a panic kind of thing. Because when you have debt like they have then now, which is at $38 trillion and counting, $1 trillion every year at the very least, it's going to accelerate. There's something they call geometrical progression and arithmetical progression and exponential growth and so on. There is a panic, there is a desperation that you need to get wealth and certain things on your balance sheet that you don't have to dole out money, because any money you dole out will represent an increasing of your debt. So you don't mind you going to cripple your own domestic oil industry to plunder somebody else's oil, to ship it out, and you need an expensive thing called diluents, naphthalene and so on to make it flow through pipes, put it on ships, take it to your country, refine it, and sell it, do what, whereas your own country, has an oversupply of oil. What are you doing to the American oil industry? You don't see you're going to make it worse off for them? Because now you're taking oil from another place, you're flooding the market with more oil and so on, oil that is more expensive to refine, you're undertaking that expense. When you have so much oil in your country, you are the world's largest oil exporter before all of this, plus all the shale that they have with hydraulic fracturing, fracking or whatever they call it, you basically submerged in oil in your country, but just to do nation state, you're getting yourself into everything. And these are the people you want to tell us that our only hope is to put ourselves on the good side. Well, here's the point I was building up to all the time. If being one of the CDU pro-American parties, which usually are yellow parties, whether Kamala Prasad's UNC in Trinidad or the NDP just over there in St. Vincent, the UWP here in St. Lucia, the other UWP, whatever, in Antigua, the UPP over in Dominica, the UPP over in Antigua. Most of them, their color is yellow. Not all of them, but most of them. Their color, for good reason, and that's instructive, is yellow. So I'll just call them the yellow parties. A yellow party won an election, massive, in St. Vincent. Just last November, 27th of November, that was the St. Vincent election. St. Vincent election, they wipe out the red party of Ralph Gonsalves. George Odlum, after they fell out, used to like to refer to him as Red Boy Gonzi, Odlum. Not exactly on the same page, so you have to try to... They obliterated them 14-1 in the 15th seat. So there's a new government, a yellow government, a conservative government, a government of the party of the late James Mitchell. Why isn't America behaving a little more restrained and respectful towards St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Godwin Friday? Why not? Why don't they inform them about this boat strike, if that is true, that they did it, and I don't think they have denied it? Why didn't they explain to them what happened or notify them? Friday seems to be as much in the dark about this as everybody else. You all want Philip J. Pierre to come and make a statement and to say something, and how he duck, and he don't know anything, he never know anything, he always looking for this. He should come out and say, why y'all not saying the same thing to your partner, which when he won the election on the 27th of November, you all were up in the air because by the same thing going to happen in St. Lucia. You all will blow away the Labour Party. You all blew away the Labour Party, you all blew them away back into government. And the one Cheese standing alone was not a Labour Party person. It was the UWP leader, just like in St. Vincent. It was the Unity Labour Party's leader and former Prime Minister. It's Alan Shastley who in the Parliament alone. Now, the Cheese standing alone. But my question is, if a pro-Trump, pro-United States, conservative, Caribbean Democratic Union Party, the party of James Mitchell and so on, is in power in St. Vincent, how come this boat strike taking place in the waters of St. Vincent and the Grenadines? Near one of the Grenadine islands, I think of Mustic, that they said and so on. How come? How come Friday has not been treated with more respect, to be taken into the confidence and told and briefed? Ralph Gonzalez taking him to task how he hasn't said anything. Ralph, he probably can't say anything because he don't know anything. You think America has any regard for St. Lucia and Alan Shastley and Friday and those people who like to think of themselves as being, so significant and so important on the American, screen and scope and so on, on the American radar, that they register as even a little blip? You think so? It's the same way, in times past when racism and the colonial thing, and when there was a certain foreign bank that only used to hire St. Lucians who were very light-skinned and so on and all of that. And there were light-skinned St. Lucians who went to the countries of the North, whether Canada, the United States, or Britain, who thought that their light skin would open doors for them. Until they realized they were not regarded. As far as they were concerned, your light skin was no different than being black. You were black. They encountered the racism, they encountered the color prejudice, they encountered the discrimination and so on, that even people who were, a darker hue of coffee, whatever, and so on, it didn't make a difference to them. They got frustrated. I think some of them developed mental illness because their expectations. Next thing you saw, those same people who St. Lucia, whose nose was turned up at darker skinned people and so on, because they were the ones in the little booths of the teller at, like I said, certain banks and telecommunications companies and shipping companies and so on. They come back to St. Lucia and they have natty, they have locks. They have locks. Suddenly they discover a consciousness of black and the dread consciousness and so on, because they realize where they thought they could fit in, that they don't fit in. That in the no man's land of being, in between two worlds, neither of them, do they claim for themselves, or one doesn't recognize them, the other one they refuse to claim. They came back and they were the dreads with their eyes green and gold and so on, because finally they realized that they realized something that Bob Marley realized from since he was a child. Yes, my father is a white man, but my consciousness, my bonding, my identification is with the black man, the black people of Jamaica, my black mother. And one of the songs I'll sing is a Black Man Redemption, It's about Africans must unite and so on. I ain't letting the whiteness in me and the mulatto complexion fool me. A lot of those people, they learn that late through frustration, like I say, and almost madness. So to those of you who pushing the line, that Philip J. Pierre is leading St. Lucia into all kinds of, hellish existence because of the fact that he's not seen as being a Trump acolyte or a tropical version of Trump or whatever, and that we missed the boat, we missed our chance, we missed the turn, the man who could have really connected with Trump, we voted him out and so on. How come he couldn't do it before? How come Godwin Friday? And that's just the beginning, he can't do it. How come even Madam Kamala, the Coolie Prime Minister, the Indian Prime Minister, the Indo Prime Minister, the Yellow Party Prime Minister, The one who was saying, yes, sir, and yippee, yay, Attaboy, where to go, Mr. Trump, in everything. How come she couldn't prevent Trinidadians from getting killed in the boat strikes? Trinidadians on the boat, you can't notify, come here, we're tracking some of your people, send out your patrol or your Coast Guard, or we'll capture them and turn them over to you, or we're taking them over because of whatever is to kill them. Those who survived the boat strike, you're making a second pass and you're killing them in the water, helpless as they are already. You know, you're not even leaving some work for the sharks. You know, but you all want to come with this same yadfall magie and to say that, you know, what we need is a party that the United States recognizes and that they will deal with us in a manner that is more considerate and compassionate because we have, you know, a bitchy man at the helm who is a hotelier, and Trump probably will, you know, be able to connect. Oh, foolishness. That's the best you'll have to come and offer us. That's the best you'll have to offer us. I tell you, God don't make mistake, you know. And he didn't make a mistake on the 26th of July, 2021. And again on the 1st of December, 2025. Yeah, that's some of what I needed to say. I don't know if it's something I had on my chest, you know. But I needed to talk about that. Now, what else I wanted to talk about? Now tell me I'm having a senior moment. And Jaquan? Yeah. Anyway, folks, it looks like we're close to the commercial break. Thank you very much, Leo Luisi, who sends me a message saying, preach it, brother. Yeah, so, okay. So, tell you what, Jaquan, let's go for the break a little early. And then when we come back, we'll deal with subjects that will require more than just the 4 minutes or so that we have left.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Appreciate your tuning into and staying with the real issues powered by Blue Waters. You know, countries that are big, that are economically powerful, considered to be politically advanced, let's just forget about the military thing for a while, but that have what we call strong institutions. Institutions that can ensure constitutional, societal, cultural stability, that can provide the sort of even-handed, almost predictable outworking, implementation, rolling out of the moral, of the constitutional, of the legal values of that country. And so you have, say, the British government, but you have the UK Bar Association, and there's, I think, one for barristers, one for solicitors. You have their Chamber of Commerce. You have a lot of the things that we ourselves are mirrored on. And they're supposed to act as sufficient buttresses and reinforcements, as well as counterbalances and counterweights to each other. Which is why the media, the press, has evolved to be referred to as the fourth estate. You've probably heard me explain that many times, but a lot of people, all the real experienced heavy hitters in journalism and broadcasting, too many of them are just interested in using their superior knowledge and intelligence and whatever it is to listen if they have something against somebody who mispronounced something, so that they can spend a whole week ridiculing them and so on. Knowledge becomes the power to denigrate others and to showcase your superiority or whatever, not to share knowledge, especially for the younger people, to make them better. You don't get that. It's all for the purveying of enmity, for the projection of antagonism and so on. That's all they want. And basically the whole fourth estate thing comes again out of the broad constitutional arrangements of Western democracies, their pluralistic democratic nature and so on. That you have three branches of government. The executive, as in the United States, would be the president and his cabinet and so on. Your secretary of this, secretary of that. You have the legislature, which is the parliament, and the United States it will be the Congress, which just as in St. Lucia has one house called the Senate, another one, in the States there's the Senate, there's House of Representatives, ours is called House of Assembly, and then there's the judiciary. The judges, the magistrates, the courts. The media evolved over time to be considered unofficially a fourth arm of government. So you have the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, and you have the media. The media is the one which is not an official arm of the state, but by its probing, investigative, way, it serves a very valuable function of holding the other arms of government accountable. It shines a light in places where other people will do everything to keep in darkness, because there are secrets there and things that they're benefiting from corruptly, unlawfully, that they don't want it. And the media is the fourth branch of government. They didn't call it that because it's not a branch of government, but they call it the fourth estate. So the media has a critical role to play. Where am I going with this? I don't know why I always have to explain that, I saw somebody put on Facebook, whatever, me see Kapalit work, me see, they're right, They're right. I think I'm a fella, I'll try to defend myself on everything. One day my voice will go silent, but ek na iba izot on chanson la, vizot. Whether I'm joking or not, you won't know. But isn't that the same America that had us under sanction? Under Leahy law, I think up to today we under it and so on. Because of supposed extrajudicial killings by our police. That they refused to accept the results of our constitutionally required, recognized, mandated inquest. That they said, no, the information they're getting says that those inquests, is pappy show. That those results were staged and those results were very doctored and so on to free up the police. They don't want that. I think behind the scenes, the Americans actually told the government of, was it Kenny Anthony, when they came back, that they refused to do any business with the police force as long as a certain person is commissioner. Because they had, according to their law, credible information of gross human rights abuses. Remember this whole thing of Operation Restore Confidence, and then the investigation that was for many years misnamed the Impacts report and so on, and Impacts never did any investigation. They may have recommended the agency, which was the major organized crime agency of Jamaica. The MOCA is the one who did the investigation and wrote the report, not Impacts, which is the CARICOM Implementation Agency for Crime and Security. Yes, and up to now, we're still on that impacts. We're still on that. Only one person said the MOCA report because we have gone in too deep and too far with the impacts thing. Wasn't that the same America who put us under sanction? Certain police officers had their visas cancelled, and they never tell you is when you reach Puerto Rico, however, when you go, you find you can't go any further because you don't have a visa. That they were sanctioning them and so on. If they have bank account, it was being frozen. A whole lot of things were being done. If people wanted, they needed to do lie detector test and blah, 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 and on and on. The careers of some police officers, promising as it may have been up to that point, was cut short. You would have expected that the United States would have had a certain institutional solidity, institutional constancy about it, a certain institutional robustness, that a change of government would not change everything overnight. What I'm saying is, look at the kind of sanctions you all have us under, And we're not the only one. They had the sanctions on Guyana at one time, certain ministers in the Guyana government, their visas got withdrawn. They couldn't go to America. They couldn't do this and they couldn't do that. I think of then Foreign Minister Clement Rohi was one of them. I cannot remember if Moses Nagamutu, and this thing was just going on and on and on and on, There was what's his name? Ronald Godraj or something like that and so on. It was a total chaotic thing. Because there was supposed to have been gross human rights abuses and police were shooting people and they were denying them due process. But now today we're hearing about America watching people, and you have to just take their word for it that the people are involved in drugs and cocaine trafficking, and you're just blasting them. They never know what hit them, much less know why they are being killed. They're being executed like that. No due process. Not even to say you tell the country and then you can hold the country accountable and put them under sanctions because you give them all the information, and what about the people? Or you swoop down on them, you took the packages of drugs, whatever, which you were able to film from space and so on and do that. But you're just going and killing people like that without any due process, and your word is just supposed to go. Don't these people have families? Don't they have children? Are there not daughters who participate in sports waiting for their father to come and watch them run the 60 meters and all of that, who will never come home? Are there not wives who are waiting for, anniversary? Whether he was thinking of drugs, I'm not saying so, but maybe he was doing like so many St. Lucians do, go to Matnik and get some bottles of La Moni or whatever and come to, or let Coco and so on to come and do a little celebration because it's their anniversary, whatever it is, even if it's smuggling, they're smuggling. They've just been blown out of the water by the same country. That to this day, I think there were times when the St. Lucia Police Force, which was depending on America to supply it with bullets, a lot of people don't know there were times when the police force reached a point where it was almost out of bullets. Because America said not giving any aid to any of our police or security agencies. We became so hobbled in our marine capabilities, and some people said if you vote them in, they'll solve that problem in less than a year, The impacts report, they'll resolve that in 300 days. They'll talk to the Americans and they'll get the sanctions lifted. Did it ever happen? Today they're coming back with the same playbook, you know. Even though they just lose an election, like if they were there and if we put them back there, they will be able to go and talk to America and all sanctions and so on. You all didn't get it lifted. You all didn't get it resolved. You all went about moving people, putting people commissioner, removing commissioner that was there and doing things vitae according to your own preferences, which only made the so-called impacts people more apprehensive, more suspicious. Who are we going to drop that report in when it has certain things in it that can result in people wanting to eliminate people because they don't want people to testify against them and all of that? That's why they didn't do it. The one commissioner that they would have trusted to, you all kicked him upstairs to get him out of the way. And you're coming out with the same thing. And that's why I want to tell you, my brethren. And you know when I say my brethren, what I mean. Don't take those people on. Still fish. Wrapped in fresh, you know, whatever it is. Ziploc bag or so on, but still stinking already. After 2 totally annihilating election, they're not trying anything new. They're coming back with the same foolishness. The same foolishness about, you know, they're the party that Donald Trump will favor and this and that, and they will solve this problem and that and the other. Now is another vibe about deputy commissioner they're trying to come up with again, even when the man who holds the commissioner position, who you would expect if anybody has insecurities about clearing somebody that is poised to come and take his job, the job that they have given him after they victimized him twice, you know, in the police force and at the prison and so on, whatever it is, you know, twice. Just strip him of his job and his entitlements and position and all for political reasons. You would expect Vanguard to be the one to come and to talk up Ronald Phillip because, you know, he probably feel Ronald Phillip, if he big him up, Ronald Phillip might come and they might move him out of the position and so on. If he's that insecure, I don't know. Vanguard came and said they have nothing on the man. This case, the DPP has said there's nothing on that to move forward. But, you know, they're coming back with it again. And too many of us giving them too much notice. We have to stop this kind of foolishness. Goodwin Friday is not having a better time with the Americans than Ralph Gonzalez was having. Ain't nobody in St. Lucia can do things better in the current context than Philip Joseph Pierce. Certainly not the fella that he has blown away twice. And if you call elections tomorrow, he blowing him again so badly that the little one city could have held on to. He losing that too. We know that. So stop giving those people gum. Including people who call themselves Christians, who go into church and whatever it is, and so on, and who come in and say that as long as I know, I can live a real cool life and so on. Everybody else, let them suffer. I pray to God to let them suffer. Why? Because they voted the party that you hate and that you don't support. You know, but you come in and spout out like you some kind of person who has even a little whisker of piety in you and so on. We ain't bothered with that. Let's buy your gum, Missy. What time is it now, Jaquan? All right, let's open the phone lines. All right. Let me see if I can pull that phone closer to me. I hope it's working because people are complaining about phones these days and the telecommunication situation. I don't really know what it is. So let's hope that it doesn't affect us. It does sometimes when people call. The WhatsApp line number is 487-9849. That's 487-9849. You can WhatsApp call us on that number, especially useful to those of you calling us from overseas and who want to avoid having the substantial cost of an international direct dial call. 758-487-9849. And you can also reach us on the local landline number, which is 4533-911. Okay? So 487-9849 and 4533-911. All right. We're getting our first call. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening, afternoon. I understand that there was a stunt for Julian Alfred that is supposed to be coming out for independence. But to my knowledge, there was supposed to be a bust or a statue erected when she had won the first race. And you made all this big one, every community came out, it was nighttime and all the children were in castries celebrating, and I haven't seen that statue up till now on that roundabout. And it hurts my heart. The roundabout that they said, if I am correct, is the one by KFC at Kirby Shack. And up to a day like today, I haven't seen that statue yet.
All right. Insofar as the statue, don't take me as speaking authoritatively, but I'm not surprised that it's not up yet because it ain't too long the road finish. All right. At least that portion of the road. Now, that road took so long. That road took at least 6 years from the time it was started or contract signed to when you could say it is completed. And of that, we're not even sure because I still see little portions where work is still going on and being done and so on. To erect a statue to Julian Alfred, you want to make sure you do it properly. And that I think they will want to make simultaneous with the renaming of the highway as the Julian Alfred Highway, okay? So I think that it is something...
I don't think it's taking ridiculously long.
I don't think so. The road took ridiculously long. Remember, if you used to listen to this program, you would have heard me referring almost all the time to the road as the Forever Road. You know, now the Forever Road has been completed. A statue may look simple, but it is something that has to take some thought. It has to take some design. It has to take some placement. It has to take some things going into it because you want to make it worthy of the person after it is named. And you know.
So hanging there,
yeah. You know, basically, yeah. I think the real disgrace was with that road.
Agreed.
Yeah. Thank you very much, though.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So, thank you very much. That's a nice first call, I must say. You know, you can't go doing things crazy, fall like you just want to go and do it for haste and all this kind of thing. Too much of our problems are caused, even in news and media, of people who want to get the story first. And I think veterans like Jerry George and so on would say, look, getting it right is more important than getting it first. Yes, you want the scoop. Yes, you want that. But then you go and you got all your facts wrong. So likewise, that statue, you know, you have to think about the anchorage to get it steady in the ground and get it proper so that a strong wind will come and blow it over, you know, that sort of thing. Real issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon, Shelton.
How are you doing, sir? Yeah, you sounding a kind of muffled and blurred and thing. Are you on your speakerphone or are you moving? I don't know. To me, it's the call is not as clear as I want. Yeah, so you can take it off the speakerphone? Yeah, it's all right. Go ahead. Let's try. You called already. Let's try.
Okay, right. First to Wasco, we sent water for us. We still have it.
Wasco sent water for you?
In Bassin Joseph, yes.
In Bassin Joseph. So you're the one who called yesterday?
Yes.
Okay.
And not everybody in Bassin that is getting water.
Okay.
To go on Laco side, we not getting.
All right. You must have told Frances hello for me, you know, that's why.
So when I get on the road, I see her and tell her that way.
So you must have, you haven't told her yet?
No, I have not seen her because I'm not going on the road yet.
You better hurry, you know, because the water will go again, you know. I'm just joking, my friend. But I'm glad for you, okay? I hope it lasts. I hope it stays. And, you know, I wish you the best, okay?
Okay, thanks.
All right, no problem.
All right.
All right, we're taking your calls as you hearing already. It seems like the landline is doing better than the WhatsApp today. All right, real issues. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, Sheldon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Yes, I was just listening to a program there from Timothy. And the man insists, like the Prime Minister not saying nothing in what happened, the incident that happened on the sea between St. Vincent and St. Lucia.
Yeah.
But the way they did, not here alone, some of the other callers are calling, but what you expect our Prime Minister to say in terms of trying to lash out against Trump or America?
Yeah.
You know,
even if you don't lash out, did you hear my point that the St. Vincent Prime Minister, Dr. Friday, has not said anything?
Yes, but it doesn't tell you. So
it happened in St. Vincent waters. The St. Vincent Prime Minister ain't say anything yet. Ralph Gonzalez taking him to task, but we want St. Lucia to say something, even if St. Lucia's involved. Now, how do they know that our Prime Minister is not talking to Dr. Friday, well, Prime Minister, what do you know? What can you tell me since it happened off Mustic? Have you all received any communication? XYZ ABC. How do they know our Prime Minister has not contacted the U.S. Embassy? Which I said to him that, give us a couple of days so that we can ascertain exactly what happened and give you.
So they run in ahead and pretend as if the Prime Minister should come and condemn Trump or condemn. We don't do that way, because by what we do, our actions in the Caribbean will be against us. Even if all the Caribbean put their heads together and say anything, that will not.
But that is exactly what they want. C'est ça yo vle. Pour yo sa guaye Philippe J. So Philippe J. Quand il vient en manière côté, il vient contoyer, il est patienté. Il fait ça nous capouiller un wrong move, il parler en manière qui fait Amérique plus qu'on nous dit désolé contre lui. So laisse ça bailler qu'il tourne contre cette siècle. Yo qu'il vient avec gardez toi car Philippe JP a mis tout là.
Why don't you believe it's somebody tell the American authorities against St. Lucia? I'm just assuming that. I'm not saying that happened.
Yeah.
So trying to upset us by bombing our boat, or one of our boats, fishermen boats. So then that will get annoyed. Our Prime Minister will get annoyed. St. Vincent Prime Minister will get annoyed, and they will strike back against Trump. And then Trump will going to put whatever the tariff. No tourists are coming in. He will do us like Cuba. Nothing is coming in. So that is what they want to happen to us. For them to say like it's clear that it's a wrong government here, and that is what is happening. But the Prime Minister is a very smart guy. He will not catch in that petty trap. And I applaud him the way he's staying silent for the time and doing what he does. When I say silence, he's not silent, he's not just coming over the air and talk a lot of things, and for that to go back to America and for them to put tariff on us and tourists not coming in and Jesus not going. That is what they want. But that Timothy, that will not work you on your cupboard.
Yes.
Have a blessed day, my brother.
All right then. Thank you very much. Nice call. I must say, very nice call. Appreciate it. And we want to take many more. Keep them coming, folks. The lines are there. They're yours. 487-9849. That is the line on which you can WhatsApp call us. Is there any refresh you can do on that WhatsApp? I just find it strange that every call we've gotten so far has been on the landline. Usually the WhatsApp mobile line is kind of very, the real busy fella. And today it seems to be the quiet one. But anyway, we're taking your call still. 487-9849. All right. You can WhatsApp call us on that mobile number and 4533-911. Now, I don't know. I'm always hesitant, but we seem like we're getting our first call on the WhatsApp line for today. Good afternoon to you, my friend. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello. Good day, Shelton.
How are you doing?
I'm good. So on the first WhatsApp call.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me see if it's working. Yes, Shelton, I agree.
Hold on, my friend.
Yes.
The monitor we're using, you got to speak up for me because I'm using a different monitor and it's not coming through as loud.
Oh yes. I'm saying
it normally would. Go ahead.
Yes, you're on point with what happened to the folks in the Intention Water.
Hold on, my friend. Hold on. Don't go away.
Yes. Yeah. No, to that bad.
Yeah, are you able to speak any louder?
Oh yes, I was saying.
Okay. Try to speak a little louder so we can see. Yeah, go ahead.
The incident, and I haven't heard any leader, and I haven't heard anybody spoke. I think everybody being so cautious because, like you said, you don't want to say anything, and you end up saying the wrong thing. But speaking to a lot of people, especially fishermen, and some of the folks actually supporting what happened. I'm like, folks, are you serious? Are they were not supposed to be there? What they were doing there? I said, but you're being so ridiculous.
How do they mean what they were doing there when the people, from what I'm told, are known to be fishermen?
But that's
they are known. Now I'm not saying people who fish, they don't do other things on the sea, and that's not what I'm saying.
Yes.
But what are you talking about? What they're doing there when they are known to be fishermen? They are known to be operators of boats, fishing boats. They are mariners and so on. Where else is a marina supposed to be but on the sea?
That's precisely my point. Because I'm saying, why they not bomb in their boat? Why is their boat? I said, you don't have to say that, folks. These people have a family. These people have kids. So why you all have to be speaking like that? Fellow Lucians, fellow fisher folks, actually making these comments. I'm like, what? Some people, yes, they have to act. You actually will support what Trump did there. How can he justify what he did? You bomb, no evidence, nothing to show. He's just a bully. Yeah, and he always have his way. So
Yeah.
yes, I just wanted to bring that across.
Yeah. Okay, my friend. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you
Okay,
very
sir.
much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Right,
Yeah.
right.
You know, I think this is a manifestation of something called Schadenfreude, which I believe is a German word that talks about getting pleasure or being delighted in the misfortunes of others. You know, those who delight and experience, you know, some kind of happiness from the misfortunes of others. And when you have people saying, you'll be fit, you'll die, somebody in the same line and it could happen to you tomorrow, that could be a manifestation of the Schadenfreude problem that is said to affect especially us, the black people, the third world people, notably those of us who have African descent. The reasons for it are given many. There are many sociological explanations, but I don't see why somebody would be rejoicing in that kind of thing when, as Midnight Groovers sang, you know, somewhere devant Saudi, you never know, you know. But we have another caller coming through. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, hi, Shelton. How are you?
I'm doing okay, and you?
I'm good, man. Hey, let me ask you a question. We still follow some laws under the British, yeah?
Yeah, a lot of our laws are derived from, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So why isn't the British defending our waters against America?
Why what?
Why isn't the British defending our waters against America?
Well, first of all, our waters, if you're talking about our coastal and territorial waters, they belong to us as an independent country. We are no longer under the protection and whatever of the British. So as an independent, self-governing, sovereign state, we would be responsible. The moment we became independent in 1979, we also became responsible for our external relations and our defense. So if we can't do that ourselves, unless we have some kind of treaty with Britain or some other country, then we basically have to do it for ourselves. If you're talking about the waters generally of the Atlantic and the Caribbean Sea, they are international waters, so the British, they're under no obligation to come to our defense, even if we are former colonies of theirs. I doubt they would want to. I mean, by orders of magnitude, the United States of America is way more powerful militarily and economically than the United Kingdom. And beyond that also, they are officially allies. They are NATO members who are sworn to come to each other's defense if ever they're attacked. What I don't understand is that
but the thing is...
Let me just finish this sentence. Let me just finish this sentence. What I'm not clear is what happens if a NATO country is the aggressor? If they're the ones who go and commit the act of aggression, are the other NATO members still obligated to pitch in and to support the one who was not attacked, who it is not a matter of defense, but who went and attacked somebody else? But I think we know the answer to that already.
Well, that was the question I was going to ask. But
we know already. You know, white will protect white. Powerful northern, western bloc and so on. They will always protect each other. They will always see that the greater weight of their interest. Let me tell you this. Almost all those European countries is what Trump is doing. They don't like, about the tariffs and the uncertainty and so on. At the end of the day, they all have one common interest, which is to subjugate and oppress, particularly black people, third world people, people of the African and Americas and so on, who are lesser beings than them in terms of capability, economic resources and so on, to plunder us and to use us to feed, their mills and their machines of their economies and so on. But at the end of the day, without Trump putting them in the bond of uncertainty and fear and anxiety and so on, they all wicked just the same. Do you fool yourself?
I know. That's cool. It's like myself and you. We are true friends. Yeah. Yeah. So British and America, they are friends. That's how it is. They're allies.
Yeah.
So basically, if you do something wrong, I'm your true friend. I'll say to you, Shelton, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why isn't British doing that to America? They know whatever America is doing is wrong, but they won't step up and say America shut.
Yes. Okay, my friend. Thank you very much. Thanks. Appreciate the call.
No problem, Shelton. Thank you, man. Thank you very
right.
much. All right.
Okay, we continue taking your calls, although we're all right on the cusp of our last commercial break for today's program. So maybe we should go for that break, and when we come back, we'll continue taking more calls and messages. I'll also try to read some of the messages from the Facebook Live, which I seldom ever get the time to do. But today I hope to make an exception, make a difference. Don't go away. Real Issues powered by Blue Waters. We'll be right back.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Yes, great wisdom needed now. The PM is acting wisely. That's one of the messages that I received. I hope to listen properly to a YouTube video that they've sent me, which is titled Marco Rubio Urges Europe to Join Them in Recolonizing Africa. And it has another piece of the title. But Dr. Carlton Augustine has been waiting patiently on the line, so let's say good afternoon to him and welcome to our program today.
Hey,
Carlton, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Shelton, and viewers and listeners.
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon, Shelton.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon to you.
I wanted to chime in on what is going on.
Yeah, are you there?
Particularly to what the Flabos are suggesting. I think you've already covered some of it. That if it was Alan Chasney, things would be different.
Yeah,
They seem to forget that during his tenure, the USA cited our CIP for the possibility of undue political interference.
Mm-hmm.
During his tenure, his policies got us on the EU blacklist.
Mm.
They are further suggesting that the fact that there is heightened U.S. activity in our waters suggests that there's some secret agreement that was recently signed by the Philip JP administration.
Right.
But they are uninformed in that almost every single island has what you signed a ship rider agreement with the United States, which gives the United States the permission and the right to carry out drug interdiction, weapons, narcotics, whatever, this kind of, but I don't know the full scope, but I'm sure it does not give them the right to bomb ships, but it does. But we know President Trump is operating under his own rules. But for them to suggest that this thing is because Philip JP gave them permission, no, they need to go back. In 1995, St. Lucia signed a ship rider agreement with the US. It was modified in 1996. Jamaica was the last holdout, signed in 1997. Jamaica cried about their sovereignty. Guyana and the US said, you guys cannot be sovereign. And they imposed all kinds of sanctions on Jamaica till Jamaica was forced to forget about its sovereignty and sign. So what we are seeing is an extension and interpretation of treaties that were signed way back in the 90s. I don't think the US, in its own deliberation, felt that they needed to sign new agreements. So to try and pass blame to the Philip J. Pierre administration is utter nonsense. And they have to forget, as you've pointed out, I just want to repeat, Friday is part of the Yellow Code.
Mm-hmm.
And the US never, up to today, from what I gather, the US has not informed him that they have carried out these operations in his waters. He's silent. Off Carriacou, that's off St. Vincent waters.
Mm-hmm.
And they want Philip J. Pierre to make a fool of himself.
Yeah.
They're not going to beat him. He's much smarter.
Exactly.
And they cannot repackage Alan Chastney. They cannot try to rehabilitate him. The people rejected him strongly on 2 occasions, and he's a political non-entity. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks. All right. Dr. Carlton Augustine there, always making those very pointed, very valuable contributions. So, I mean, let's not believe that Europe, the Germanys, and so on, that they hold us in any better regard, or that they, because of what they're experiencing with Trump, they're doing what we should be trying to do. Just keep our heads down and try to survive Trump. We understand he won't be there forever. Maybe just the midterm elections in November of this year will probably bring about a significant and decisive change. But I don't believe the basic concept that their development and their sustenance depends upon the subjugation and the plundering of Africa and other nations where there are resources to take their oil and their timber. And this is still the same development model that they have, you know. So let's not be under any illusions about those people. But we have another call coming through. Real Issues, you're on the air.
Good afternoon, Shelton.
Hey, hi, how are you doing?
Malar, man.
Olar.
Oui, man. Shelton, ou savent qui ça qui chagrin pouvoir?
Oui,
Ou savent ça fait?
Mahatana Bartley, the political version of Gopwell.
That's the political goal. No, ou savent ça qu'a dit tout le monde, please? Ça fait chagrin pouvoir. Les noms ont pouvoir. Non, non, pas gagné pour eux. C'est jeune, là. Il pas gagné pour eux. Gardez au niveau. Non, non, il va tout les fois, c'est ce que c'est. On en est. C'est mon nom, il va la haine ici, c'est ce que c'est. Il est. C'est mon nom, il va un contrat pour faire toute cette qualité bagaille. C'est ce que c'est, il est. Hein? C'est mon nom, c'est Jean-Noël qui ruine là pour faire bêtises, pour dire si le dame là qui n'a pas fait ça. Yo c'est Jean-Noël. Vous comprenez? ex-apatite, ça c'est un chat là, mais pour lui-même, ça pas de là. So, après ça là, il voulait vivre petit oui, et catcher le monsieur, monsieur, ça demande, et Trump, Andy, ça fait là, en week-end, non. Monsieur le gars qui Trump, et dit Trump, right? Monsieur le gars de bout, et Trump, et dit Trump, bagay. Monsieur, ça parle by personne, à part dit cette lycée.
Yes.
We have to understand that what happened there, the men who were killed who are St. Lucians, they're not flabbers, you know. Or if they are flabbers, they were not killed because they were flabbers or because they were laborers. They were killed by Americans in our waters. That is Caribbean waters. What we need to ensure is that the governments collectively come together and make a statement and let America know that that's Caribbean waters.
Yeah.
Okay? And I think I saw somewhere in a post where there was some agreement about giving America access to Caribbean waters sometime in either 1995, 1996 or about. I did not read all of it, so I can't expound on it more. But we need to know what is going on because too often we're just coming out of a national battle activity where we brought our citizens together. We're in independence mode. You mean to tell me, rather than grieve as a nation, we politicizing an issue that was not dealt with politically? Can't we do better than that? Moreover, Shelton won in December 1st the seat of Liquid South. He has not shown any love, compassion, or respect for these people. He still disregards St. Lucian's. He didn't even participate in the battle relay. You think he'll give a crap about the St. Lucian that was killed? That's what some de la both sides de la position, your PhD, whatever D, and that's what some real bon le Western Junior. You can't tell it the mayor, man.
Merci. A very impassioned caller there, isn't she? And I can understand why. You know, what can we do when America demands something? Look at how the fellas have said that, look, they forced countries, bullied countries to sign agreements that they will not turn over any American military personnel. No matter what they do, no matter what they're accused of, do not turn them over to the International Court of Justice or whatever that deals with, or the International Criminal Court that deals with abuses committed by military personnel while they engage in peacekeeping duties. You know, there have been problems of Pakistani soldiers going to do peacekeeping in Rwanda and the Congo or else in Africa and raping young girls while they're there and so on. There have been reports about Americans. Well, I don't know about the sexual crimes, although there was a time there was something about Japanese girls on Okinawa that American servicemen raped a couple of them in Iraq about sexual assaults and so on. But usually it's other human rights abuses of beating up people and torturing them and so on that they're not supposed to face the justice that other nations face and which they insist upon. If an American rapes a girl in St. Lucia, an American soldier, you're not supposed to turn them over to international. That's an insult. Like James Mitchell himself said many years ago when an American couple, James and Penelia Fletcher, had befriended a local guy, in the Grenadine Islands, Jerome something, I forgot his name. And the guy was, basically a visitor to their yacht, and the guy ended up dead. And they were charged with murder and they were being taken to court. And James Mitchell said he could not believe the kind of pressure St. Vincent and the Grenadines was under, by American interest politicians and all of them and civil society. And their main theme seemed to be, how dare you try an American? How dare you little people, you little speck of dust in the Caribbean Sea, think you can try an American? So an American soldier comes there for whatever reason. He ends up raping, a young girl. No, man, try him. You crazy, Even if you try him in the local courts, they'll put so much pressure on you that you will bend. They'll start doing all kind of visa cancellation and thing. And sometimes I tell you, I wonder if somewhere in all this visa thing that they have us so beholden to that we're prepared to sell our souls in order to keep our visas. Whether that is not part of the complex that we've been trying to figure out the number of it all, that's not part of the mark of the beast, because the way they have wielded the visa and the banking access and the payment and the trade and the SWIFT code and the currency reserve and the global reserve currency for oil trading and whatever it is, whether those people don't have us so completely locked into their system that we know we cannot buy or sell unless we have, those credentials and those approvals, and we're not plugged into their system, that this is the encoding of the mark. It might as well be a laser imprint on our hand and in our forehead. Not literally, but we can't do anything without them. So ship rider and so on, I think that was something that gave American military forces the right to board any ship that is in our waters, open waters, they don't need our approval, but our ships, the ships of those bringing supplies to us, that they can board it to search it and to seize it or to seize whatever is on it. And a lot of us, we had no choice. It wasn't that it was willing. When America tells you do something or else, there's very little you could do. Sometimes more reasonable U.S. governments come, and they don't seem to press that thing. But people like Donald Trump, the neocons and so on, they're going to push it. We have another caller on the line. Are we taking? Okay, let's take the phone call. WhatsApp line, hold on for us. Real issues, you're on the air.
Shelton.
Yes, man.
Good afternoon. I want to deal with an issue that I've been surfacing. That surfaced something. I got it on my phone yesterday. And it's been too long. These things have been happening to threats been made towards the Prime Minister by people abroad locally, and I will be very upset with my Prime Minister, my comrade and my friend, if he doesn't step up and make an example out of this particular one, so that in the future, nobody will attempt to, whether they believe they're overseas and they're immune, to lay threat at the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, no matter who he or she is. This has to stop. You cannot go on TikTok and blatantly open and show your face and say that the Prime Minister needs a shot in his head.
Yeah.
And that will just pass just so. But no matter where this guy is, something needs to happen. Our diplomatic people need connections, need to get, and I don't think it's probably difficult to find the fact that his face is blatantly an extradite net and charge this guy. And so that will set an example for the others. The other so-called patriots saying all kind of things. We have to set an example, my brother. And this one, I'm begging my comrade, my friend, my Prime Minister, Philippe Gilbert-Pierre, don't let this one pass. We must take these things seriously.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Although I have to say that this matter should never even reach the Prime Minister for any kind of decision. We have sufficient security apparatus in its layers and in its different echelons that should pick this thing up and deal with it without the Prime Minister engaging in what may seem like a self-serving response, for his own safety. The Prime Minister's safety and security is the responsibility of the state, and the apparatus of the state ought to have kicked in, if it hasn't already, to deal with that. We have a call on the WhatsApp line. Real issues.
Shelton, good afternoon, St. Lucia. Yeah. Good afternoon, Shelton.
Hello, caller.
Good afternoon, St. Lucians.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say two things. One of the big, we in St. Lucia today still have a strong colonial mentality. There are taxi drivers that have said to me personally that because Shasney is white, when he goes out, he would bring more business to St. Lucia than Philip J. Pierre. But ask them today, when he was Prime Minister, how many hotels and businesses he brought to St. Lucia? And we still have that colonial mentality within us.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing I want to talk about, this vessel which had a problem and blown out or shot at sea, part of the vessel have been brought ashore in Mikud. I think the Marine Police need to be involved and examine and give a statement concerning the state of the vehicle. I understood from then Mikud fishermen that the parts of the vessel with the engine can also be retrieved. I think it should be retrieved and a statement be made on the condition of the vessels.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks. Yeah, that's a good point. Do your forensics and find out whether what you are signing bears out all this allegation about bombing and so on, Was it an onboard explosion of the vehicle that maybe their fuel tank or something else that they were carrying exploded? Did they have their own explosives? But, this is what the Prime Minister is saying. Let him receive information that is reliable through channels, that can provide him with accurate reports and so on this kind. He can't not as Prime Minister just go mouthing off and jawing off about something that he has not yet received reliable information about. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, Shelton. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your viewers and listeners.
Hi, how you doing?
I am blessed, my brother. I'm blessed. I have been listening to solutions for all walks of life on different radio stations talk about what happened near mistake. And my advice to solutions is simple, especially those who support Trump and the Republican Party. Since that's your party, that's your man, all right? You write to them and tell them your concern about what happened in the Caribbean Sea. If I told your concern. And then on other solutions, my advice is that we lead a demonstration. We don't need no politician to lead a demonstration. We, citizen X, must say enough is enough and send a message to Washington. If anybody understands politics, they would have understood what happened in Venezuela. They went in there, they captured Maduro, thinking that the people would have stood up against the government. That did not happen. The people actually came out in support of the government. They tried the same thing in Iran. They had all kind of CIA, Israeli operators among the Iranians. When the Iranians came out, it's a different story. So those people in power, they understand the law of numbers. So now when 10 or 5 persons turn up in Constitutional Park in support of Venezuela or Cuba, the Americans say we're not supporting them. When they see 5,000, 15,000 solutions on the street, marching, demonstrating, with placards against them, then becomes a concern for them. You understand what I'm saying, Shelton?
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
In the same way, I have said to people in my area, when I alone call Waska or Lucelec, they say that troublesome man. When all of us call, they say, boss, there's a trouble, There's a problem, the people are calling. The same way. When the Americans look and they see that the Caribbean people are against what they're doing, then it becomes a concern. Not when 5, 10, 15, 20 of us stand up. All right? That is my advice.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. All right, we still have time for a few more calls. I'm thinking 487-9849. You can WhatsApp call us on that number. We have gotten some calls on it. It doesn't seem to be as busy as it normally is, but we have gotten calls, so that means it's working. And you can also reach us on the number that's ringing right now, 4533911. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, I call back again because of the last caller saying if 10 people go and demonstrate or 5 people, but if 15,000 or 20,000 go and demonstrate, it will send a signal to Washington. But hey, this, even though the whole Caribbean demonstrates, we have Caribbean countries that depend on tourism. What them same American people could do, as they usually do, MCI, come down, let's say it happened in St. Lucia, 10,000 people demonstrate on the street while they bomb our boats in the waters and we're demonstrating against America policy for that. What America could do, send CIA people down here, just kill 2 tourists, as if it's rob, they rob them, and then they just put a thing on St. Lucia. America, don't come down into St. Lucia to visit, because look, they're taking revenge on the people because of accusing them for killing the fishermen on the sea. So even though it's 10,000 gun demonstrate, you think that could replace back the people that will not become and visit and bring to build our economy? The 15, 20,000 people demonstrating, it's like that. So I'm telling you, I'm not saying it's not right to do, but if you do it, it's going to affect us in the long run.
Got you, my friend.
You understand the point?
Makes sense, my friend. Thanks a lot. Yeah. I saw another call flashing on the WhatsApp line. Did they give up? All right, okay. Call on the WhatsApp line. It can't be the WhatsApp call was stretching your credit or anyway. So call back. We want to give everybody or as many people as possible a chance, and we'll be happy to take your call if we still have time. I don't like to see people who. Okay, we're getting another call on the landline. The landline seems to be our line of good fortune today. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead. Hello? Hello?
Shelton Daniel.
Hey, forward la ki nou velo hodia.
Hello?
Ki nou velo hodia forward la?
Mr. Shelton Daniel.
Yeah, forward la, muka wepon nou.
Good afternoon.
Forward la, muka wepon nou.
Oui, mwen la kase bon nou papa bon diye. Mate sav le mwen ka kuya a show. La nan misye ka ba biye. Se misye a ki ka di mwen. Ki sa pou mwen di? Pourquoi si maman ga son sa akle vite bien di. Laj la mwen haize a mwen goba hen men lajve ni maman. Ni li men. Maman yi ba mwen twe mes. Pas si maman yi te on fam di de mwen twe yi shwi mes. I pa ka yi di mwen nga kuye show Sheldon. Nga kwe diye. Nga di ki sa. Jika da a health center mwen te mwen gouj health center. Wellness. Misi a ka di mwen kon yi ka kontetan mwen selman ke le nga kuye show Sheldon. Ka koute, yi ka chante, yi ka kwe diye, yi ka kontetan. Mal sa ha brile nom la. I ha kwe madame li douvan. I men bin douvan. De hey. Men bon diye kwe moun ba mwen, yo repon ni de ba mwen tou. Yo pa man se di bagay ba mwen. Se ba ha di a man le talk show. Mwen ta Radio 100, mwen te li damon si yon. A Radio 100. Se ba jodi a Queen Mary tou. Ki te nou batiman de se hile de mete la ban. Sa moun sa ka mwen se mwen pwe diye. Sa li ka mwen se mwen pale. Adwese moun je. Ako yi tou nan ton rasta di mwen. Pour du Shelton, bon, Zubali, whatever, and son, ça a brûlé. Mais pas ça qu'on prenne la terre, mais ou pas, ça fait un forward. Forward me 125 morceaux la prière, moi, à l'asdou. C'est un seul Sams qui a demandé mon kamod. Na modi mon, non Sams 23 mani mon. Na prié, na prié for the nation, by nation, mon na. Mr. Shelton Daniel, moi, oui, merci, pour les talk show, dit toutes ces gens, Jai miya di magatan dad esutan. So nga remercie pour botew mesu law portan mon kwa de exalate ga priye mo gadi mo mi tan Sheldon di o manchou. Ça qui vive au malade et nga apprécier ça. Monsieur Sheldon Daniel Chebewet Pamoli et nom la et puis femme la ma affine ma bre o ma fa madame et monsieur pas ni messe.
Okay. Merci un peu forward là, appréciez ça. And I think that'll just about do it for us on the real issues for today. Wednesday, it is the 18th of February 2026, and I think we've had a good one, but we got a rule now. So God willing, we can do this again same time tomorrow from 12:30 to 2 on Real FM radio station, NBC Television, Facebook, and YouTube live streaming. On behalf of our technical operator, Jaquan, this is Shelton Daniel. Real Issues, powered by Blue Waters for today, signing out.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary.
The winning numbers for the midday draw of Wednesday, 18th February 2026 were Double Daily Grand 2, 7, 12, 22, Big 4, 4, 7, 9, 4. The Big 4 Multi-X ball drawn is 3X. Big 2, 7, 0. The Big 2 Multi-X ball drawn is FB. 1 off, 8, 6, 8. Lucky 3, 2, 1, 9. The Lucky 3 Multi-X ball drawn is FB.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30.